Hello, welcome to Focus on Fantasy Romance, episode number 65, a podcast where we discuss books, genre, industry, and our geeky lives. I'm your host, Elle Klaus.
I'm ARD Clark.
I'm Paulina Woods.
Electra Gatus.
Ishabelle Torrey.
And today we have AJ Ryder with us. AJ, why don't you take a moment and tell the listeners what you write?
Sorry. My first dabbling into romance was more contemporary, and I focused on geeks and kind of showed that they could be sexy too, that they weren't just a stereotypical I'm going to live in my mom's basement and do nothing but play video games and read comic books. I mean, there's still, of course, geeky elements involved, but I try to show that, hey, we're sexy too. We're not a bunch of weaklings. And there's little elements of BDSM in there too. Nothing too hardcore because I didn't want to scare anybody away. Because I know not everybody is into that. So I tried to make it accessible to everybody. But I just recently started doing fantasy romance, and I'm actually very excited about that. The first book of my Ballads of Cadarnley series came out in February, and I was really nervous about it because it was my first time doing anything like that. But overall, it got not a bad reception, so it was mostly positive, and it gave me the, I guess, motivation I needed to really get to work on book 2, which I'm currently working on. So, yay!
Can you tell us a little bit about your first book, The Bonds Eternal?
Yeah, it's a menage romance, 2 guys and a girl. A dark elf, a wood elf, and a half elf. So I really went full in with the high fantasy aspect. And basically, the 3 of them are a couple. You know, they're together. They're very much together. There's no drama, no unnecessary love triangles. The 3 of them are all very happily in love with each other. And throughout the book, they're journeying to destroy an ancient evil artifact that Leandria, the female lead, came across because she's a treasure hunter and a mercenary. So it kind of fell in her lap. And basically they have to destroy it before her employer can find it and put it on and thereby be granted all the powers of the fallen goddess of the Dark Elves. So, yeah. And true love prevails, so yay!
Yay! Always yay for true love prevails. So if you go to your Amazon author page, it's very hard to miss that you have a D20 being held in the lips of a woman. So yeah. I have played D&D. I just finished a Pathfinder game.
Mm-hmm.
I've played GURPS. I've played Legend of the 5 Rings. And various other tabletop role-playing games. So how did you get involved in tabletop RPGs, and how have they affected your writing?
I didn't get into them until I was in my 20s. I'm kind of a late bloomer because growing up, I grew up in a very, 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 very religious household. You know, the kind of household that was like, oh, D&D is the gateway to the devil and blah, 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 blah. All that crap.
I totally relate. Yep.
And not kidding, this actually happened. I stumbled upon this old cache that used to belong to my brothers, and it was basically first edition D&D stuff, like the old campaigns and all of that. And I got really excited, and I actually showed them to my mom, and she promptly threw them in the garbage. and this was like stuff from the 70s, so it was the original stuff.
Probably worth some money.
No! Yeah. But after I got into it after I got out of college, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is really fun, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And I don't know if you've ever seen these films, but they're by this really small production company, Zombie Orpheus, and also Dead Gentleman Productions. They're kind of a partner group.
Yeah.
Gamers, Darkness Rising.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. It's routine that when we're playing a game or setting up for a game or building characters for a game, somehow we always quote, I think it's technically the second movie. Yeah, we're always quoting that movie. And then there was from the very beginnings of the internet, there was some animated thing about it was, I can't even know what it is, but like, oh, we're like, you know, hey, I want a Mountain Dew. And they're talking about other girls there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know that video. Oh my God.
Yeah, so like we make references to that obscure animation and then quote the Dead Gentleman movie, Darkness Rising. Like I've seen the third one, but like the second one is like quintessential gamer humor. Yeah, like, and I love that I think it's open source. So like if you don't know, if you've not seen it, they encourage you to pirate their movie.
Yeah, it is open source because Matt Bouncel, the brains behind the whole operation, he got tired of really good stuff like Veronica Mars and Firefly, stuff like that, just being canceled and being made unavailable to people. So he was like, no, you want to pirate this? You go right ahead. You share it. You have viewings. Let people see this for what it is. It is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
It's fabulous.
Love those movies. And that only spurned on my love of D&D and made me want to play more.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, everyone in my gaming group is trying to find the spell Hand of Fiery Doom. What is it?
Flaming Hand of Fiery Doom.
Flaming Hand of Fiery Doom. Does not exist, but everyone jokes that they're going to do it. They're going to cast it. And I'm like, So for those of you that don't know, if you play either Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons, the standard set of dice has 7 dice. So you've got a 20-sided dice, which is the most important. But then you've got 12, 10, 8, 6, 10, 2 10-sided dice, 1 is percentile, and then a 4-sided dice. Have you found that you use your dice for things other than playing D&D? Like
sometimes.
For example, I also play The Sims 4, which is a PC simulation game. And when your Sims grow up, you select like what kind of life aspirations they want. Instead of, because what happened was I would keep selecting the same ones. So now I roll dice. I'm like, oh, there's 4 options. So I actually have them on my desk. I'll just roll my D4. Like, oh, there's 6 options. There's 12. Yeah. So have you found that you've done that?
Not to that degree. It's more akin to like instead of drawing straws, somebody will pick a number and I'll roll like the D20, and whatever number ends up, that's the number that gets picked, kind of a thing. Just like
you're not use it in plotting. Like, I don't know where we're gonna go. We're gonna roll some dice. They can go to the castle, or they can go. No,
I have not done that. When I have trouble coming up with a specific plot point, like if I'm stuck, I either sit and stew about it for hours or even days at a time. Just like, okay, here are the options for this one. Here's the options if they go this way, and which one is going to affect the plot positively or negatively, or which one is going to bring it to a standstill. And I basically just play out all these various scenarios in my head. It kind of drives me a little crazy at times. And it kind of stalls everything else around me because I can't get my head out of there. So I'm just forever thinking of everything in a constant loop. But Yeah, no, I probably should think about the dice option. It might streamline the process a bit.
Okay, so it's my turn. So AJ, if viewers or listeners out there don't know, we started doing a little questionnaire for our interviewees so we could get an idea of kind of topics to talk to you about. One of the things that you mentioned was that you have certain fandom romances that you prefer above all others. So anybody who's anybody of nerddom knows Firefly. So you like Zoe and Wash. I heard the sigh.
Yes.
The sigh. What is it particularly about their relationship that gives you that aw shucks feeling when you watch them on TV?
Well, it's the fact that even though they don't look like they would be able to work, because she's this strong, gorgeous, just Amazonian beauty, and he's just this little wimpy, geeky looking guy. So at first glance, you're just like, no. But then when you actually see them together, you're just like, oh, they really do work, and they complement each other so well. They're just,
They do.
Perfect.
They are perfect. Okay, so there's two groups of people. There are people who wish that they could see the romance blossom between Zoe and Wash, and the people who are perfectly fine coming into their romance after they're already married, which is where Firefly picks up. So, would you prefer to have seen them fall in love with each other, or are you fine the way it was coming into them already being married?
I would have really liked to have seen the catalyst. What was it that
there had to be some moment, that one moment that obviously it was her looking at him. I mean, he would have fallen in love with her immediately.
Totally.
But there had to be something about him or something he did or said or some moment that made her equally entranced with him. I mean, that was the way I always pictured it. But I mean, anybody who is a Firefly fan will tell you that, the romance between Mal and Inara was, that's the thing. And is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And then, there's always Simon and Kaylee. So there were other romances, but I always liked the fact that Zoe and Wash were already together.
Yeah, it kind of cut down on the whole will they, won't they, will they, won't they. It was kind of
it was like, they already did.
It was a very comforting sort of constant, amidst all of the chaos and shenanigans that were going on. It was the one thing you could always depend on. It's like, okay, yeah, no, they're solid. They're there.
Absolutely.
This is our anchor. It's our safe place amidst all of the other angst and everything that's going on. Right.
So shift gears to another fandom.
Okay.
And let's talk about the Pawns. Now that's a different kind of love story, because my husband and I used to argue because he said he admired Rory for the fact that he never seemed, he had jealousy.
Yeah.
But he never seemed to let it get in the way.
No.
And he ended up winning out over who would have seemed like the obvious choice. And so that always was even more important to me, was the fact that she chose him over like this never gonna happen love with the doctor, because we had just gotten off the whole Rose
thing. I almost picked that, but I was just like, no, Amy and Rory is a better love story. Just
it is. Well, I mean, you're talking about a man who waited.
I know.
For the girl who waited. So, I mean, it is extremely heartwarming, but heartbreaking at the same time. But at least they ended up together. And so they were able to live out their days together. And that part was semi-satisfying.
God. Oh God, so many tears. Just
so many tears. Yeah, there are a lot of fandom couples, that are hard to let go of. Do you see echoes of those things in your own relationships?
I'm sorry,
in your writing?
It broke up when you did the question. Can you repeat it?
Oh, sorry. Do you see echoes of those fandom relationships in your own characters' relationships?
Yeah. I mean, case in point sorry. My brain is moving faster than my mouth at this point. In the example of Bonds Eternal, Dorlin, Vilker, and Leandria, they are very supportive of one another. They always have each other's back. When one of them needs help, the other two are ready to jump in and help in whatever way they can. And I really like relationships where there is a definite closeness and chemistry and just a really good, healthy dynamic. So I try to incorporate that in, even with my Kinky Geek series, the central characters, there's always a constant playing off of one another in a very good way. There's never any mind games. There's never any.
Now you see the whole geek-tastic romance. That has always interested me because I have told the girls, you always hear, there's alpha hero romance, but I have always wanted, and I haven't had too much of a chance. I mean, all my heroes are good guys, obviously, but I would like to write literally like Wash. He's a beta hero.
Yeah.
He's not the Mal of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he still has his moment to shine, like with the episode where he and Mal get kidnapped by Mishka, whatever. Nishka, whatever his name is. I'm totally blanking. Wash totally has his hero moment, and he's like, no, I'm gonna do this with you. I'm not gonna wuss out. I'm not gonna puss out. I can do this. He proves himself to be made of stronger metal than a lot of people thought. So, yeah, it's kind of an unsung hero.
Absolutely, and those moments that they show there, I mean, they've always had it in them. They don't necessarily go around flaunting it,
Exactly.
But when it does come out, it's even sweeter because you're like, vindication. I knew he was tough.
Yeah, and I mean, my male leads have somewhat alpha qualities, but they're not what people often refer to as alpha a-holes.
Right.
They're capable of taking the lead and taking charge and being strong, but at the same time, they're not afraid to let their softer side show and be tender with the girl that they're in love with, kind of a thing. They straddle the line.
Absolutely.
They're strong when they need to be, and they're tender when they need to be. There's no alpha a-holeness about them. So.
Okay, those are my questions. I think Paulina is up next, but she is on her phone, so
okay.
I just have to tag her.
I'm right here.
Hello.
Sorry. Can you guys hear me this time, though?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, good. So, I had to touch on it, but I was like, let me finish. Let me wait till they finish. I always tell people me and my sister are opposites when it comes to like couples. My sister wants a guy like, she wants a relationship like Morticia and is it Gomez? Yeah.
Gomez.
I was like, I want more of a Rory.
Aww.
I'm like, I don't need someone throwing knives at me, but okay. I just had to say that because like you guys were talking about it, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, it takes a special kind of relationship to want to have knives thrown at you.
But it is, Paulina, we can't hear you again. But it is, I've always thought that Gomez and Morticia are a super cute couple.
They are super cute.
Yes, their romance is amazing. Don't get me wrong.
I know.
But I think I'll go with Rory. I want a Rory.
Dependable,
I'll go with,
devoted, safe, dedicated,
gorgeous.
obviously dedicated.
Oh.
I know. His
So
nose
while
was
we're
cute.
So while we're talking about Doctor Who, what's a villain or a villain species that you are like, if the lights go out, you're probably thinking, holy shit, they're probably there.
The Weeping Angels. They are.
Oh my God, my boyfriend keeps sending pictures of them. After I told him the picture is an angel.
It is it's actually really sad because as far as villains go, they are the cheapest villains, special effect wise, and yet they scare the crap out of me every single time.
Right.
Just like, I would have
even though the silence comes in a close different.
The silence, yeah.
The silence is a close second,
come in a close
but it's
second.
always gonna be it's always gonna be the Weeping Angels that terrify me. Just like,
so do you find yourself? Do you find yourself walking past statues like I do, unfortunately, and going, did it move? Do I need to blink?
Sometimes.
Like I have to walk past one to get to my car at night if I walk for my job, and I'm always like literally like, okay, I can get to my car. I'm like literally looking over my shoulder like, oh my God. And I'm just like, wow, this is so sad. I'm scared of the stupid angel. That stupid statue has never moved.
Well, it's really sad for me because, I grew up Catholic, so there were lots of angel statues and all of those kinds of things. And I didn't get scared of them until I saw that episode of Doctor Who. And then it was just like, oh crap.
Like, I don't want to see the Statue of Liberty now.
Oh, God,
I don't want to see the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, God. Angels Take Manhattan. Oh, my God.
I literally told my boyfriend, I'm not going anymore. He's like, but you want to see the Statue of Liberty? I was like, no, because if everybody turns away from the statue, it's going to move. It's coming after me. He's like, I'm not having it.
It's got my number.
I'm like, So yeah, like I said, though,
it's like why I never go in the ocean. It's like, I know that there's a shark out there named Jaws, and he's going to eat me if I go in the ocean. No, I'm not going to the water.
Talking about stupid fears, at least my fear is validated. His fear is Sharknado. Who wins?
Oh dear God!
Right? Let's go on a boat. No shark.
But there's 5 movies. This must be legit.
To a degree, because I mean, the last few bad rainstorms, there were actually sharks on the roads in Texas.
But they're not going to eat you at the moment.
No, and they're not spinning in a tornado. But still, sharks made it into Texas. Like,
Okay, thanks. I'm going to have to tell him that.
It's one of my worst fears realized. Yay.
Right. Ooh. So I know that you play tabletop games. Do you play video games? Like, do you have an Xbox, PlayStation?
PS4.
Oh, nice. What do you play?
I'm a BioWare addict. I love Dragon Age, Mass Effect.
Okay, you're my new best friend.
Role-playing games. I'm sorry?
You're my new best friend. You can go ahead and move in.
All right, cool.
I've played every single one of those games too. Which Mass Effect do you hate?
Which Mass Effect do I hate? That would have to be the third one. Because talk about a finger to the fans. It's like, what? You spend Mass Effect 3. You spend all of this time building up all of these characters and getting attached to all of these characters. And then the end happens. And you're just like, what the fuck?
It sucks. No. Have you played the fourth one, Andromeda?
I don't know why people hate on that game so much. I actually really love it.
Seriously?
It is so much fun. I love it.
Maybe I just stopped playing it after like 20 hours.
But I like it. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just like, this is fun.
I like the vaults. Don't get me wrong. Like the vaults, but going and collecting all that shit is annoying. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, that part is annoying. Because like,
I'm like,
there's certain
I hated the Rover in 1.
But yeah, it's just like there's stuff in the vault that you can't get to until you reset it. But the thing is, you're too busy running for your fucking life to worry about, oh god, where was that artifact? Where was it? Where was it?
And they literally like, I do love the fact that you have to plan your battles because they get behind you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the fun part. But still, my favorite, hands down, was 2.
2 was good. 2 was good. Depending on how you played the first one and all that. But, because I mean, like, say you romanced Caden in the first one, and then all of a sudden,
the
second game comes back.
You know how you have to pick?
Yes.
And then I didn't take Ashley back, so it didn't matter.
I did one of each because I played the game multiple times. First time around, I killed Caden, and I felt horrible. Second time around, I killed Ashley because for some reason that particular playthrough, she was just really getting on my nerves. I don't know what it was.
She's a bitch.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I killed her off, and the second time I was just like, I don't feel so bad. So I kind of kept, because like when you play Dragon Age, whether you play the second one, like whether you play the second one or Inquisition, because either one of those has equal pretty much Sophie's choice kind of choices that you need to make. Like
yeah,
like
I
in
love
Dragon
them now.
I know. But like Dragon Age 2, for the sake of getting the achievement, I sided with the Templars during one playthrough. I felt so dirty. So horrible.
Right? I wanted it too, so oh man, I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
I felt so wrong, and don't get me wrong, it was really, really awesome seeing all those badass Templars kneel before me at the end of the game. But it wasn't worth it. I was like, oh god, no! My mages!
So I take it you like Andres. What was his name? Andre?
Anders. I love him. I love him so much. I love him.
He was my favorite.
Everyone, oh yes, mine too. Everyone's like, oh, Fenris. I'm like, no. I mean, yeah, he's cute. He's got a nice voice, but I prefer playing as a mage, and that just, no.
That was a good game.
Andrews.
You think they'll come out with any more?
They are going to make a 4th one. It's going to focus primarily on Tevinter.
Ooh.
Because if
Guess what I'll be doing.
Because if you, did you get the Trespasser DLC for Inquisition?
Did I? No, I didn't get that one before I stopped playing it and start writing more.
but yeah, one of the DLCs is Trespasser.
So I should get it.
Yes, enchantment. That's right. But
well, I guess what I know I'm gonna get.
At the end of Trespasser, you see there's a cutscene and there's a giant map, and you see the War Council, Cullen, Liliana, and the Inquisitor, and the Inquisitor stabs a dagger into the map, and the dagger is in Tevinter. So yeah, it's gonna be in Tevinter.
Well, now I know what I'm gonna play. Thank you. All my fans are gonna love you as I don't write.
Sorry.
But before we go on and on and on forever, I'm gonna pass it on to Electra.
Okay.
So I am not a Dungeons and Dragons type person. But what I thought was very interesting is that in some of my brother's things, I had actually found some dice, and just out of curiosity, I don't know, I've got a good 30 of them here. Do colors and shapes mean anything? Like I've got like these little nice turquoise ones, I've got red ones, I've got green ones, I've got purple ones, blue ones.
The color doesn't really matter. It's more of a personal preference. Like say your favorite color is purple, you're going to gravitate more towards the purple hued dye and all that. But the shapes, they do mean, they have their own specific uses. So like say you're going to roll for the D20 is basically the make or break die. It'll let you know if you actually land a hit or if you fail to do your attack. A 1 is a fail, an epic fail. I have rolled more than my fair share of those. Ironically enough, only when I play as a mage. I don't know why. Anytime I play as a rogue, I hit every single thing. So it's just like, okay. But a 20 is an automatic win, no matter if the person that your character is fighting happens to be an epic level boss. It'll still be a win. You'll still win the thing. Because it's such a high, it's so hard to get that. They just kind of give it to you if you do manage to land a 20. So it's just like, yes!
All right. No, it was funny because I saw your Amazon page and the picture of the dice, and I was like, oh, I have a whole bag of these things. What are these? And Elle was like, Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, what is that? I mean, like, I have no clue, but I have a bag of like 30 of them, and I was like, I just never knew what they were, and we just found them just a couple of months ago, and I just actually had them over here because I've been meaning to Google them. So
awesome.
Yeah, so I've never seen these before. Yeah, like it's just funny because I have one that has a 20 on it, but I also have one that's got like 90, 70
sided die? Whoa.
Yeah, it's got 90 and it's got 70 and it's got 50, 80, 40, 60.
I have no idea what that is.
That might be a percentile.
Oh.
Is it? If it goes from like 10 to, 0 to 9, no. Yeah, it would be 10-sided, but it's got 10s instead of 1s. That's probably a percentile.
Okay.
So like sometimes you'll have to roll, like you have 20% chance of hitting, hitting somebody. So you have to roll. If you get in within the right, get the right roll, you hit. If you don't make it. So
sounds like it would be a dungeon. Sounds like it would be a DM's die, like part of his little thingamabob. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how you play, because sometimes the dungeon master or game master or whatever you want to call the person who's running the game those rolls for you. Sometimes, like everyone I've ever played with, they've let me roll it myself as long as it's like on the table and they can see it. I'm not like hiding it and lying.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I'm like, I have no clue what these numbers are on here. Some of them has 3 numbers. Some of them have 2 numbers. I was like, oh, this is quite interesting. But yeah, so I thought it was kind of, I just learned what those were just because you were our guest today. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But I did want to ask you about your desire or your love for the 60s and as far as fashion goes.
I love those clothes. They're so cute.
What part of 60s fashion is it that you gravitate toward that you just absolutely love? Is it the bell bottoms? Is it the, the patterns? Is it the straight pencil dresses? What is it that you just kind of gravitate towards?
I gravitate towards dresses. I just love the look of them. Like one of my favorite shows to just binge watch when I've got nothing to do is Bewitched. Like the earlier seasons, I just love Samantha Stevens' outfits. I'm just like, and I don't know if you've seen the movie Down with Love, with Renee Zellweger and Ewan McGregor. It's basically a parody of all the Rock Hudson and Doris Day movies, but that movie is just pure clothing porn for me because the dresses are just so gorgeous and so cute, and just you never see anything that put together and just perfectly arranged anymore in this day and age. And this is back in the day when you actually took the time to dress up and make yourself up and just so pretty and just so feminine. It's just, I want to look like that sometimes. Sometimes you just want to be really girly. And those clothes are they're cute, they're practical, and they're feminine without being overtly flowery and flouncy. Like back in like the 30s back in the 30s, the dresses, the just laying around the house lounging wear that women would wear was ridiculous. Like these long flowing gowns with the trains. It's just like, okay, how is that comfortable? But but when the 60s, you've got femininity, but you've also got practicality. And it's a very nice meshing of the two. And I just love mid-century modern architecture and interior design. So it's just, because it's clean, it's simple, but it's not too cold, like the ultra-modern stuff. It's still got a warmth to it. So it's a perfect balance. I guess it pleases my OCD, the balance between the two.
So then are you a girly girl and get all dressed up and all that with makeup and everything else like that, or
I have my moments.
Yeah.
To quote a comedian, a female comedian that I really enjoy back in the day, back when she still did stand-up, Elvira Kurt, she classified herself as fella girly. You know, the kind of girl who is all, I'll get it, hold my pumps, like when reaching for something on a tall shelf. You know, I have my tomboy moments, but I also have my moments where I like to get all dressed up to the nines with makeup, and I spend a lot of time getting my eyeliner just right to get the perfect cat eye. And then there are days where I'm just like, ugh, I'm just going to stick a hat on my head and just go. I don't have time for any of these shenanigans. I got places to be. So
I know how that goes, definitely. So I'm very much a girly girl. I'm all about makeup and heels and shoes and all that. So
I do love shoes.
Oh,
I love shoes.
Yes, shoes.
It's a definite fetish of mine.
I
Beautiful
have,
pumps,
yes.
boots.
Yes, yes, I can't even tell you. Oh, my husband goes broke every year just trying to figure out what to buy me for Christmas, what shoe. I'm like, yeah, the disco ball shoes I wanted this year were not happening. They're like $300 from Aldo. So I was like, okay, I just kind of cried. I know, I just kind of cried. Like I wanted them, but yes. So do you find yourself to be more of a like, do you like the longer thin heels? Are you a boot girl or
I love boots.
So
Knee-high boots. It doesn't matter if they're flat or if they've got a heel. I love boots, and I love pairing them with shorts, and shorts with leggings under the shorts, and then the boot. It's a cute little look, and I love it. It's kind of a quasi punk sort of look, but not quite. It's adorable, and it's easy to dress up and dress down.
It is. No, boots are my favorite. I love to wear them with dresses and jeans, and but they're my favorite. But I live in Michigan, so we, when it's cold 9 months out of the year, a boot is perfect. So
exactly. Put them with tights. Put them with some really tall socks.
Yes, and they help keep you warm.
Cute little layered effect. Yes.
So Linda, what is like one thing for your readers and for ours, what is like the one thing they would probably be most surprised about you as a person? Can be anything.
I like to collect antique teacups.
Oh my goodness, my grandmother did that.
I'm picky about them. They have to be really special looking for me to be like, yeah, you're coming home with me. I don't just collect anyone.
No, she wouldn't either. She was from England, and she had this thing about everything had to be served on china, but she collects teacups, and her favorites were the ones that looked like, when you looked at from the top looking down in them, they looked like a flower. They had all the nice little ripples.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yes. So she just loved those. She would always go to garage sales and estate sales to look for those. So but that's interesting. I think that's pretty cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do at night when I'm by myself is just get one of my teacups that's perfectly sized for my Keurig, and I have a tiny little teacup's worth of coffee, and I get some cookies and I just dunk them, and I just sit quietly I eat my little cookies and I drink my little cup of coffee. And then I just kind of go to my happy place, and then I'm recharged and I'm able to get back to writing or whatever I happen to have been doing beforehand. Just little mini battery recharge.
All right. Yeah. So mine happens to be a Monster. I'm not a coffee person, but I'll pick up a Monster any day, which is probably not good.
I love Monster. I love Monsters and I love coffee.
Yes.
I still remember the first time I ever had a Monster. I didn't know what I was in store for, and I thought it was just like a regular soda. So I basically chugged it. And I don't know if you ever saw the movie Over the Hedge, but basically Hammy the squirrel drinks a soda, his very first soda, and the entire world just kind of spins to a halt because he's moving so fast that everything else is like at a standstill. That was basically me. And I got all of my work done in the office that I worked at the time. I got it all done within the span of an hour. And then I had like 5 hours of just nothing. I was twitching and it looked like I was coming off of, looked like I was going through some kind of withdrawal. Just like, I was twitching. I was not able to sit still. I was just getting up and pacing, walking around, doing whatever random crap I could think of because I had all this excessive energy and nothing to do with it. And yeah, I learned my lesson after that. You sip the Monster. You don't chug it.
You sip it. Yeah. Yes. You make sure it lasts all day.
Dainty sips.
Yes, I do that. I've been trying not to because I'm like on this whole no sugar, no caffeine. I'm supposed to be. It's just not really working out.
Oh dear God, I could never do that.
I'm trying, but I definitely miss my Monsters. In fact, I have one at my desk that I've just got. It says on it, emergencies only. So I'm like, I've been reaching for it. We've had hard days at work. I've been reaching for it. I was like, oh no, I could do it. Emergencies only. But I'll break it open because there's only so much I can take before it just gets too much. And I'm like, give me the damn thing. I need some sugar and I need some caffeine now, or you all are going to just die. I'm going to go postal.
You're getting stabby.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I get a little bitchy though at work if I don't have my caffeine. So.
Yeah. Don't we all? I cannot function without that first cup of coffee in the morning. I am just a lump of human tissue without it. Vaguely aware of things going on around me, but yeah, no, I need my coffee.
Well, Ish, do you have any questions?
She said she didn't.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Anybody else? Do you have anything?
I will say that my caffeine vice is coffee.
Yep.
So much so that I wore it this morning.
Oh, God.
Dr. Pepper. Must have Dr. Pepper.
See, if I tried to drink a Monster, I actually have a caffeine sensitivity, so I have to have my coffee in the morning. Can't have anything afternoon, unless it's with alcohol. but then I wouldn't be able to sleep, so.
I have absolutely no problem sleeping. I could drink a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper and go to bed.
See, my husband's that way. I just can't.
I can't do that.
I have a headache in the afternoons if I don't drink caffeine throughout the day, just because I've done it for so long. Like I
Same here.
Dr. Pepper.
I'll be honest with you. Amy. I 100% agree with you. Pop, as far as the best drink ever, as far as sodas go, is definitely Dr. Pepper.
It's the nectar of the gods. I try to tell people they don't listen,
exactly.
but I'm telling you.
It is delicious. It is delicious.
23 flavors.
It absolutely is, and it was so funny because when I moved from Nevada to here, I was like, Dr. Pepper, and they were like, no, Pepsi or Coke. What's that?
Yeah, see, where I come from, you call it a Coke, and then you'll say, hey, I want a Coke, and they'll say, okay, what kind of Coke? And you'll say, I'll take a Sprite, or a Dr. Pepper, or a Mountain Dew, because everything's a Coke. It's from the South. That's how you do it. And then the other thing I do like, which I can do, is a really dark brewed, super sweet iced tea. I will do that.
Sweet tea.
I'm talking about, I need about 1.5 to 2 cups of sugar.
It's the only way to do it.
Tea, and I prefer sun tea if I have the choice, but yeah, it's got to be super dark brewed. Like I'll use 4, 5, 6 tea bags, and like 1.5 to 2 cups of sugar. My husband's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." I'm like, "You're fine."
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Oh, shut up. You're fine.
Sweet tea. I know. I'm like, go to the store and they're like, "Here's your tea," and I'm like, "This is not tea. This is water with something in it that does not taste good."
This is nothing but a glass full of sad. You know not what you speak of.
I'm like, "Do you have sugar packets? Because this is undrinkable. I need sugar in this." Who made this?
Okay.
It's on a site.
To prevent us from digressing further, AJ, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you online, like your websites or social media links?
Let's see. On Twitter, I am. Let me double check because sometimes I get it wrong. Where are you? Actually, I can probably type it. It might be easier that way.
Well, I can also share in the comments. So if you come back to episode 65, you can look for links in the comments. You just have to email those to me. Otherwise, I might not get it right.
Anyway, on Twitter, I am at author_AJ_Ryder. And the A in author and the R in writer and the 2 letters in AJ are all capitalized. Everything else is lowercase. And I have an author page on Facebook. Just look up AJ Ryder and you'll find me. And I've also got a group that's dedicated to my Kinky Geek series. And you can find that by going to my author page. And basically I do what I like to call the daily role for sexiness, and I basically post sexy pictures of bespectacled men, and I post a little D&D humor and stuff also. So, yeah, there's that stuff.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing some bespectacled men and rolling for sexiness.
Actually, the group's name is Roll for. Yeah, it is Roll for Sexiness. That is right.
I roll a 20 if you're excited.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, listener, if you like the podcast, please like, a comment, and share. This has been episode number 65. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Night.